I took my sister's place at the altar to marry the city's most powerful tycoon, Sebastian. But 6 months in, he still refused to touch me. My heart grew cold. I was fed up and ready to file for divorce. But then, by sheer accident, I overheard a conversation between him and his boys. Some guys are absolute sex freaks, heavy cravings, but they repress it because they're terrified of scaring their innocent little wife. I won't name names. Women can't resist temptation, Seb. If you keep playing the monk, your wifey is gonna run off with someone else and you'll be too late to cry about it. The man being mocked simply took a calm sip of his whiskey. If I can't give it to her, maybe someone else can. I just need her to get the wildness out of her system, then come home. Hearing this, his friends all laughed. Don't act so generous. If you're really that cool about it, stop crying on your burner account. My heart skipped a beat. I whipped out my phone and immediately opened Sebastian's secret account. I saw the pinned post. Finally married my high school crush. But I have a raging sex addiction. How do I rail her properly without terrifying her? It was late, and the silence in the penthouse was deafening. I pulled out the sheer, barely there negligee I'd bought specifically for psychological warfare, and marched toward Sebastian's wing of the mansion. Since the wedding, he'd used work as an excuse to move into the guest suite. If I did the math right, we hadn't had any physical contact in 2 weeks. Not a hug, not a handhold, nothing. Sebastian had just stepped out of the shower when I barged in. He saw me perched on the edge of his bed, and the towel he was using to dry his hair froze in midair. What are you doing here? His tone wasn't gentle. It was professional, like I was a client. I looked him up and down. I had to admit, the bastard was built like a Greek god. Even the thick bathrobe couldn't hide the bulging pecs and the rigid definition of his abs beneath. He had that sharp, aristocratic nose and long pianist fingers. On paper, he was the perfect specimen. But for 6 months, I hadn't been allowed to test drive the merchandise. I didn't have time for games tonight. I'm here to sleep with you, Sebastian. I didn't care what excuse he had. Tonight, I needed to get laid. Sebastian's expression faltered for a second. His eyes dragged over my lingerie, his Adam's apple bobbing. Okay, he said simply. That easy? I was suspicious. He walked over, looking uncharacteristically flustered. The only light came from a dim, ambient lamp on the nightstand. He lay down, the scent of cold water and expensive soap washing over me. My mind was already in the gutter. My hand slid down to his waist, feeling the heat. Sebastian went rigid. He froze, then slowly lowered his gaze. His voice was raspy in the dark, straining. Do you want me to help you out? Before I could answer, he pulled away, opened the nightstand drawer, and unlocked his celibacy kit. My arousal died instantly. I knew exactly what was coming. He was fulfilling his husband duties, but not with his body. He was treating me like a clinical task. It pissed me off, every single time. His crotch was like Fort Knox, locked down tight, wasted potential. When I saw him pull out the finger cots, my face went dark. I snatched the box from his hand and chucked it at his chest. Help me? You stick in the mud prick. What the hell can you do with your fingers that I can't do myself? I was shouting now, my voice shrill with sexual frustration. The dim light hid his expression. I could feel his pitch-black eyes burning into me, intense, hot, maybe even a little confused. The humiliation hit me like a wave. If you can't get it up, Sebastian, just say so. You aren't the only man in New York with a dick. I can find someone else who actually knows how to use one. If we were married, why did it always feel like he was doing me a charity favor? That's not what I mean. Sebastian's voice was dry, cracking, but he didn't make a move. He didn't cut my face, didn't kiss me, didn't throw me on the bed. Strike 3. I grabbed my silk robe off the floor, stood up, and slammed the door hard enough to shake the walls. I was at my best friend Harper's apartment, drowning my sorrows. My phone was buzzing aggressively on the table. You gonna get that? Harper asked, lighting a cigarette. I downed my drink, the alcohol burning my throat. I grabbed the phone and turned it off. Why doesn't he touch me, Harper? I groaned. Maybe he's gay? I shook my head. In high school, Sebastian dated girls. Men